We are going to take a look at one of my all-time favorite songs. This is, of course, White Bird by It's a Beautiful Day. Now, the song doesn't necessarily translate very well to one guitar and vocals, because there were two really important vocal parts in it. So the first thing is you need two singers to do this. Then you need a couple of violins, and then you need an electric guitar, then you need some acoustic guitar. But what we're going to do in this lesson is take a look at, I will go through that intro where I was kind of picking out the violin part and a bass part. That's going to be the hardest part of this lesson for now, but I want to make it a lot harder a little bit later with some additions to it. But what we're going to do in this is really just take a look at how to run through the chords with little percussive strumming. A good little like rhythm pattern to just keep going while you're singing it. And we'll talk about doing it in the original, well, we're going to talk about doing it in the original key, but we'll talk about two different ways of playing that with a set of open chords, which are basically C and B flat, but also you could play it capoed at the 3rd fret using an A and a G chord, making it a little easier, avoiding the ugly B flat chord. And this is partly fresh on my mind because I just recently played this with one of my students, Paulette, at our International Guitar Camp just last week, 2021. And we did the whole thing. You know, we sang 2 parts, and then I played the solo parts. Now, this is what I'm going to add to it later, so this is not in it yet today, but who knows? Where after a couple verses and a chorus, there's a violin part. So that was the first solo that happens in there, played by David LaFlamme, who, along with his wife at the time, Linda, wrote the song. Now, the song, it has a really cool history because it was their manager didn't think they were quite good enough for the San Francisco music scene yet, so they were kind of locked up in an attic in a Victorian house in Seattle. And through a cold Seattle winter, they felt like caged birds. So the song sort of came out of that feeling. And by the time they came down to San Francisco in, I think it was now 1968, 67 probably, they had, they were big on the scene along with the Grateful Dead and Santana and everybody who was playing the Fillmore back in those days. So the whole San Francisco music scene really, they were a really important part of. They didn't stick around too long. They only made 2 albums. The first one was just called It's a Beautiful Day. The second one was called Marrying Maiden. And then David and Linda broke up, went their separate ways. But many years later, David resurrected the band with his new wife, Linda, who, by the way, neither of them was the original female singer. That's something else really important. Pattie Santos was the vocalist that sang this with David on the original recording. Anyway, so kind of cool history of the song. The album, the first Beautiful Day album, had other great tunes on it. Girl with No Eyes and Hot Summer Day. Anyway, okay, enough tangential stuff. We also, later on, in another lesson or in an upcoming lesson, will work on the guitar solo. keep an eye out for that. It won't be long until I get around to the whole solo version, where we also pick out the melody. Okay, enough of that. I want to get on with this lesson. So what we have is the accompaniment version of White Bird.